My name is Emma Johnston-Leon, and this is Lights, Camera, Leadership. Los Angeles doesn't just consume culture, it creates it. This town is known for its bright lights and even brighter stars, some of whom can be found right here in the human resources community. Every day, Leaderology partners with committed HR leaders who are just as innovative as the companies they work for. As a new member of the Leaderology team, I'm on a journey to learn from some of the best and brightest in HR. Neena Dass is a director of talent and HR business partner at Netflix and highly active in the Los Angeles HR community. She has a deep passion for competitive salsa and is also a professional DJ. Neena says both are critical for her mental health at work. I'm meeting up with her this afternoon. She told me to bring along my old dance shoes.
You made it! Hi, how are you? Are we hugging?
I am vaccinated.
Me too.
Yay!
Okay, yay.
So good to see you. You too.
Did you get here all right?
Yes,
Okay.
you know, a little traffic. LA, normal, but I'm so excited to be here.
Me too. Welcome. This is Vibe Studio.
Yeah.
Actually, it's so interesting. So my partner and I actually during COVID would practice here.
Nice.
So we would kind of isolate ourselves, come, rent out the studio, and just feel
Have your own little bubble to
to get out of the bubble.
Right.
Do you know what I
True.
mean? It just kept us sane.
Definitely.
So we're really excited. I'm so glad you can be here. I love the vibe of Vibe. I'm not gonna lie. I think it's super cool.
Yeah, it honestly feels so good to be in a dance studio. It's been so long for me. So
Yes. No.
I'm really excited
Same.
to get moving and to learn a little, although
Yes.
I'm a beginner salsa dancer. So.
Yeah, I got you. I got the
Okay.
basic steps. Won't be
Awesome.
too complicated, but I just want you to be able to one, feel the music,
Yeah.
and two, kind of understand the dance a little bit.
Awesome. Love
Okay.
it. So
Yay.
excited. Let's do it.
Okay, good. I'm excited.
Yay! So we're doing salsa today.
Yes.
How did you get into salsa dancing?
It's kind of an interesting story. My ex at the time, he was studying to be a doctor, and he was constantly busy, and he was always in school. And we both met in college, and I realized that I needed another hobby to keep me busy, so I wasn't waiting for him to entertain me.
Right.
And so I remember going to a club in Berkeley, actually, and I saw this Colombian couple dance. And I went up to her after class, because she was teaching like a lesson for the club. I said, I want to learn to dance like you. And she was like, okay, keep coming Wednesdays. Then I started dancing on their performance teams. So I was dancing on their amateur team, their semi-pro, and then their pro team. I met a dance partner there, and we competed in the World Salsa Championship.
Cool.
We won the first place in the amateur division. Yeah, it was awesome. So we were really in it. You know, I think you probably saw this with yoga training, where you just meet people of all walks of life in all different stages. Single, married, divorced, black, white, Latino, people who, you know, are computer science people who work as,
Have
you know what I mean,
different jobs
teachers.
and
Just like,
passions
it's
and-
just so amazing. It's so eclectic, but you come together as a community and you dance. And there's like a common language between all of us. Just the more you put in, the more you get out. And that's something I've always seen, even with DJing. The more I practice, the more I do gigs, the more I put myself in uncomfortable situations. I'm gonna DJ the Pride Parade, and I haven't done a big event ever in my life. I'm gonna get better.
Yeah.
And that actually, it's the learning. Like some people will be like, I'll do gigs sometimes for free. And they'll be like, you're doing it for free, not getting paid? I said, because I'm learning right now.
Right.
Like I'm learning.
I'm getting something out of
I
it.
am getting something out of it, you know?
Definitely. So progress.
Yeah, 100%. That was so fun.
That was so much fun. Oh my gosh. You're a pro.
No, and I am so impressed. You picked up the steps so quickly. Like you could pick up arm movements already, like even
So
hip action.
Half the time I'm like, I don't know what to do with my hands.
Yeah, I mean, I think actually that comes later.
Yeah.
So you were perfect.
Oh, well, I don't know about that. I have room to grow.
Yeah.
But it was so much fun.
Isn't it such a stress release?
Yes.
Like, because you just feel like you're in another world, you're concentrating on something. For a moment in time, you just forget everything else that's around you.
Oh, totally.
You
You
know?
just get in the zone and
Yes.
it's like you're moving. And I feel like there's such a connection between like moving your body and your mind.
Yes, actually that's it. For me, it really kind of saved me mentally, I feel like, was
Yeah.
dancing and DJing. Because just going into my space and working remotely and working in HR and just focusing on that, but then not necessarily having an outlet,
Right.
you definitely, it takes a toll. And we've seen actually, at various companies that right now, like mental health is a huge issue. We have not yet processed what we have gone through last year and all the sense of loss that we've gone through.
Now we know that, mental health and physical health are both equally important. And how does HR need to adjust to that mindset in your role?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was almost a forcing function in 2020, where now usually sometimes HR is not directly experiencing what an employee might be going through. They might be able to empathize.
Right.
But in this moment, it was a time where we all were feeling just slow. I think New York Times had written an article where it was like, we've hit a wall.
Yeah.
Right? So I think it was also hitting us. And we had to stop and be like, I think this is a bigger thing and we need to escalate this. So this is the first time I've seen leaders in multiple companies escalating the conversation around burnout.
Yeah,
So I do see the pivot now, and they've had to be creative because it's not always just leave.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not always just a leave of absence, which is great if you have that benefit, but for those that don't, or those that don't want to take the time because it actually stresses them to be away from work, or work is actually giving them balance, what else can we do to provide that holistic approach?
That's like an awakening that
Yes.
I think is just incredible, because to be able to say like, I'm going through this, people
Yes.
often think, oh, I'm the only person going through this, poor me, or whatever the case
Yes.
may be. But to be able to look at that and say, now I'm going to think about the fact that everyone around is probably feeling something
That's right.
similar.
That's
and
right.
how can I make an impact
Yes.
to make that better, not just for myself, but I need to worry about myself, but I need to make it better and for the broader population as
Yes.
well.
I mean, I think, besides even just like the pandemic and mental health, I think the other thing 2020 did for the function was really make I&D a part of our conversation. I think, we went through somewhat of like a revolution in 2020 around race.
Yeah.
And we saw things that maybe people had never seen before. And so in seeing that, I think HR realized we need to have a bigger stance. What's our stance as a company around racial inequity? And what does this look like? What does Black Lives Matter mean to us, and how does this show up? And then employees were starting to have a voice where it would be like, now we're going to hold you accountable.
Yeah.
Actually, and they were very vocal to some HR partners, were like, you weren't there for me when I needed you. It's almost like it uncovered some secrets that had been down in the depths of the organization. It kind of came out in 2020.
Right.
And HR had to look at themselves in the mirror and be like, how am I showing up?
Right.
Am I a bias interrupter? When I know this leader is saying some stuff that I know makes me uncomfortable, am I standing up to them and saying that actually is this and is making me uncomfortable? And I think that's the question we had to do, is just look at ourselves in the mirror. I mean, not just personally, but professionally as a function, what are we doing?
Right.
And I think that part was so powerful.
You mentioned too that, looking in the mirror and thinking people came to you and say, or not you necessarily, but
Right.
people came to HR saying, I actually didn't feel supported
Yep.
back in the day when this happened,
Yes,
et cetera.
that's right.
And you have to look in the mirror as a department, as a person, as
That's
an
right.
individual, and think, what part did I play?
Yeah.
And what systems and structures am I partaking in?
That's right. What does the culture say about this?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's right.
That to me is leadership.
Yeah.
And that intrinsic, or looking internally first.
Right.
And being like, I'm gonna look in the mirror first.
That's right.
Before I make a decision on how to move forward.
Yeah.
That is leadership.
Yes, yes. Yes, I mean, yes, and I think too, like, we expect leaders to be inclusive. So I think it is a quality that an excellent leader has. And something I've seen now, you know, with leadership and what excellent leadership looks like are people who, you know, ideally they're further along on the inclusion journey than 2020 waking them up.
Right.
If 2020 woke them up,
Yeah.
they got work to do. I would probably question whether they're a great leader right now.
Yeah.
But I would say, and maybe it's their experiences, but the curiosity, obviously if that's there, that's wonderful. But the expectation really is for them to do their work. Really go back to the moments. Did I ever display moments of microaggression? How was I raised? Who are my friends?
Yeah.
What do they look like? What do they do? Like, uncover your own biases. So I think you're right in start doing the work inside first. And that's where I've seen great leaders really in this moment took time to self-reflect. And they're very humble. And they're like, where could I have shown up better?
So with your salsa and DJing
Yeah.
and your role in HR, you are fearlessly authentic. How do you get to show up and be your authentic self?
Yeah. That's such a compliment, first of all. And I
true.
think, no, I really appreciate it. I do let my employees know about me. And I think, you know, whenever I go into a new team, I always share, here's who I am, here's where I've been, here's what I've done, and here's what I like to do. And I think when they get to see you outside of work, they get to know the real you, which actually builds trust. That's, I think, the key HR tenet in competency is learning to build trust. And then when you do that, you can then have meaningful conversations and really be authentic and lean in because they know where you come from. They know your story. They know you. You know, I think sometimes people feel like I've got to be all business all the time and I cannot show anything.
That is leadership as well. Like modeling the way is a great leadership tactic. And so as a leader in your role, you show up and you're like, this is who I am. Here are things about me inside and outside of work that are important to me. That opens the door for other people to be able to share about themselves. So
That's
they don't
right.
feel like they have to cover or hide or
No.
code switch or be something different than, you know, to fit the mold.
That's
You're
right.
opening that door by
That's
saying,
right.
this is who I am. I'm going to be open with who I am, the things I love, and I'd love to get to know you and
Yes.
the things that you love to do.
And I
vice
think the
versa.
key thing with HR too, it's not always that we're the actor that's doing the work. We're actually going to facilitate and encourage courageous conversations for other people to do the work. So we really create the tools and the
scaffold them.
resources and the foundation for them to go and do what they need to do. Because at the end of the day, I'm not going to be there all the time.
Right.
I need them to feel like they can solve their own problems. I feel like they need to know I'm there to support them, but that I'm really there just as a guide and really to help facilitate the space for them to have those moments.
But this is how we grow.
Neena says mental health requires more from HR than providing leaves of absence. It requires partnership, true partnership, so we can get creative, be more proactive, and create space for healthier practices. Dancing and DJing are critical outlets for Neena so that she can best support others in her role.
Hold on to let go.
I can't help but wonder, what if we leaned into our passions? What if we tried something new, something fulfilling? Something that supports our own mental well-being so we can better support others. Maybe I won't put away my dance shoes quite yet,